Are you excited to play the new leader, Simon Bolivar, in the new patch 1.1.1 update? Well, you're in the right place. Hey everyone, this is Connor from Haus, here today to give, a bit speculatively at least, my 3 Civs that I'm most looking forward to playing with Simon Bolivar. The new leader in Civ 7. The El Libertador here, the military expansionist leader. So let's kind of look at what Simone does, and then I'm going to kind of look at one Civ for each age that I think players should be targeting to play with Simone in their first game. So yeah, he's super interesting. Probably the part of this patch I'm most excited about from a kind of new gameplay perspective, but he is a militaristic expansionist leader. So with Simone, you get +1 free war support on your wars, just flat across the board. It's a pretty strong support there. And then when you conquer a settlement for the first time, the settlement can purchase 1 constructible for free. Unrest does not prevent purchasing. So with those 2 things, and he also unlocks Mexico in the modern age. With those 2 things, you're going to have to be playing a pretty aggressive playstyle on the front foot, attacking other civilizations, and making progress that way. So let's start off in the Antiquity Age here, as we do. And there are a lot of good choices here. There are multiple that I think you could go with and have success. As you can see, also Simone's character model is just fabulous. What a fit, what a shirt. Anyway, a lot of good choices I think you can make the case for. As you can see, he has his, you know, kind of predisposed geographic choice and cultural choice, or strategic choice here. And funny enough, we're actually going to go with the game's strategic choice and say that Rome is our Antiquity Age pick for Simon Bolivar. I think if you were to give an honorable mention, it would be to Persia. But I'm going to kind of explain why I like Rome here in a second. So if you were to go Persia, obviously you get the combat strength when attacking, which is going to play in really nicely to your kind of front foot playstyle, right? And you get the Immortal and the Unique Army Commander. I've played with Persia in the Antiquity Age going full military, and it is a lot of fun. But I think Rome gives you a bit more rounded of a choice going through. And you also are going to unlock a lot of the Civs that we're going to be targeting later in the video. Slight spoiler there. But Rome just feels a little stronger overall than Persia, I think is really what comes down to this suggestion here. Yeah, you still get the Legatus is just so strong. Having the legions is very strong. And yeah, so this one feels, like I said, a little bit more rounded than Persia. But if you wanted to go just pure military, forget everything else exists, maybe go ahead and try Persia. But our pick is going to be Rome in the Antiquity Age, which goes into the Exploration Age, where we have Bulgaria, a new civ in the game, that you get food to all towns when pillaging improvements, equal to 50% of the yield or HP gained. However, all combat units receive -3 combat strength against districts with medieval walls, and you get plus 30% production towards the Ryla Monastery, which I believe is new. Well, yeah, obviously it is new civ here. So, lots of choices here, though. And you've got, obviously, the Incan being the geographic choice, Spain being the strategic choice. I kind of tend to disagree, though. I actually would say Mongolia, or second choice, would be the Norman to play here. Mongolia, I feel like, is really where you go pure militaristic. The only caveat here with Mongolia is if you've already dominated a lot of your continent in the Antiquity Age with Rome or Persia, and there's not much left to dominate, then Mongolia might not be the choice, because it does have a kind of a larger emphasis on staying in your home continent. If that's the case, you could go Norman or maybe even Spain, just to have some strong units and to get benefits to combat in different ways. So the Normans obviously get +1 movement when embarked, and land units adjacent to coast receive +5 combat strength. That can stack up, especially, again, a lot of this, you know, for the Exploration Age is going to be kind of situationally dependent. But if you are looking for one just pure recommendation as void of context as possible, we would pick Mongolia for the Exploration Age, just to continue being as aggressive as possible. Because because as it says here, when you capture an opposing settlement, you gain the strongest cavalry unit you can currently train. Obviously, the Kashig here is a really strong cavalry unit for the Mongolians. So that means you'd be, when you get a settlement, you would be getting a cavalry unit plus a free purchasable, and it should help you to have some really nice power spikes throughout the Exploration Age. And that's going to take us into the Modern Age, where because you chose Rome in the Antiquity Age, you unlock Prussia, which I actually think would be my pick for Modern Age Civ for Simon Bolivar. Units receive +1 combat strength for every unfriendly or worse civ relationship. By this point, you should have many of those. So I think you could actually, in a larger game, you could have a lot of combat strength from that. And then you get a unique cavalry unit here, which you should have a lot of cavalry coming over from the Exploration Age. And the Hussar here has +1 movement and +1 combat strength for every movement it has remaining. So this one, again, I really think that you can stack this benefit, having a lot of cavalry units with obviously the combat strength here, the free war support he gets, and you should be able to maintain really strong kind of continuity from a militaristic perspective here. The other choice I would say maybe is the French Empire. The game likes that as the strategic choice, and I don't wholly disagree. You get the Garde Imperiale, which is the infantry unit that can also make ranged attacks, +2 combat strength when a friendly army commander within a friendly army commander's radius, but they are more expensive to train. I don't think anything is particularly wrong with playing the French Empire here. There's not many instances in this game where I look to play Prussia in the Modern Age, and I think this is one of them. So I think this could be a really fun way to utilize this Civ in the Modern Age, because again, I typically do not. That's maybe my personal choice, but yeah. All in all, though, my overall thoughts on Simone, I think he's going to fit in nicely into kind of the militaristic grouping of leaders. Yeah, I think if you compare him to an easy one, it would be these two down here, Trung Troc and Xerxes, King of Kings. So Xerxes gives you, the combat strength for attacking. You get culture and gold when you capture a settlement. Trung Troc gives you 3 levels on your first army commander. And you get science kind of doubled in tropical tiles when you declare formal war. And then you have someone like Simone that's a bit more adaptable. So you just get war support in all your wars again, and you can purchase constructibles for free. Kind of helps your empire to expand as you go. I think this would be a pretty fun, just pure military playstyle to go for. There's not a lot of leaders in the game that can do that quite yet, so I will be interested to get into a game with Simone. And even within Each Age, I think he's got a lot of flexibility because of how adaptable he is. I mean, even Carthage could be a great one to play with him. If you went, away from using the colonists and more just militaristic, that could be great as well. So there's so many different options in all of these ages that could be really good for Simone. But I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are. Obviously, he just released. I have not gotten into a game with him yet. This is all untested kind of theory crafting. So I'd be curious to hear what the thoughts are from the community. If you all think this will be much different, if you all like different civs, let us know in the comments. But I'm going to go get into a game with Simone, honestly. So I'm going to hop off here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And from our house to yours, as always, we hope you'll join us for one more turn. Thanks, everyone.